having been in HR, I saw many people who are adults struggling with many life skills, and I knew what the problem was. Sharp. I used to give these people jobs. I would be on the interview panels. 4.8 CGPA. You get your life skills absolutely bad. To survive in employment, 70% human skills, 30% technical. That is known. We are in a digital world, take your phone and search it out. The percentages may differ, at 70% human skills.
Hello, good people. What's up? What's up? It's a beautiful morning, good afternoon, from wherever I watch you from. I don't know. But as for me, I'm excited. I'm excited today because I'm speaking to a great man. And when I say a great man, I really mean a great man. He amuses me. For those who know him, he wears so many hats. He's an MC, he's into ministry, he's a reverend, he's a salongo, he's an author, he's a family man, he's a coach. I could go on and on and on and on. And what a privilege for us, the business people, the entrepreneurs this morning, this afternoon, to be blessed to have someone powerful speak to us, share their story, their journey. How has it been? How do they get into the business world? What's their story? It's a very exciting moment for us, and we are privileged to have the one and only Sir Jose. Sir Jose, which name should I call you?
Any name really.
Sir Jose, good morning, good afternoon. You're welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Sandra. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for hosting me.
Where do we start? You quite have an interesting story. But random, you wear so many hats, right? Which one? Being a reverend, being a father, being an MC, being being a husband, in all the hats you wear. Which one comes you the most?
I don't know when you say humbles. It's a broad statement, but what I can say, I don't consider myself to be putting on many hats. I only have 3. The rest support the 3. So I'm passionate about money and investment. I'm passionate about business and the boy child. That's it.
The boy child.
Yes. So those are the 3. If you get Joseph Rwabutomise, money and investment, the boy child, and business.
But you're a father to girls, so who is taking care of the girl child?
Yeah, exactly. Now, those other things, like I said, they are the foundation, like support the boy child guy, the business guy, the money and investment, and the product of all this support, this power down. So apart from those 3 pillars, which are out there in the world, of course, I'm a father. I've done theology. People call me Reverend. I don't preach full time on a pulpit. I don't own a church, but I've done theology to really help me in my work, which I do with quite a lot of people. People are human beings who have a heart. They need encouragement, and they need someone who can take them forward. So apart from the technical knowledge, you speak to the heart, to the soul and heart. So the human being is made up of body, soul, and mind. So when I go to some of those courses, not really to become a reverend, but to be able to have the ability to understand the human being and support them beyond just the technical knowledge that we are pushing them out. So yeah.
So for someone who is watching you for the very first time, tell them, who is Sir Jose? They would want to know, who is this mighty man?
All right, so thank you so much for that question. To all our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Joseph Rwabutomise. In one word, I'm a chartered financial advisor and coach and executive coach. Now, I do money and investment, which is my passion. I'm a chartered coach with the Chartered Institute of Securities and Investment, and also I'm a certified coach with ICF on the SEC level. So really, if I'm to define myself in one word, I'm a chartered financial advisor and executive coach. And basically, I help people understand money and investment. Of course, I have a story. I have not always understood money and investment. I have a story behind that, but I notice that many people struggle with finances, the continent and the world at large. Money is not taught, I've also been in that space. So personally, I help people to understand money and investment in the most simplest way because I'm an ordinary person when it comes to money.
We are
Very
curious.
ordinary person.
We are
Yes,
curious.
yeah.
Me and 10,000 others, me and those other entrepreneurs and business people, we are so curious. What's the story behind what pushed you so hard to go in for it so that you can get to understand the money, whole money thing? Because most people, yeah, make money, spend the money, play.
Yes.
But for you've gone to the root bottom of understanding the money. What's
Yes.
the story, Megan?
All right, thank you for the question. Now, real quick, my background is not money. I studied electrical engineering in university, passed with flying colors, went to the corporate world, started working as a young engineer. I was paid well, but for some reason, 2 years into the workspace, I'm broke. Every single month, by the 18th of the month, I have no money. But young engineer, very brilliant, you're earning money, but you're broke. And so for me, it perturbed me, as in like, I would expect me as a smart young engineer to also know how to handle money. You get the point? So it perturbed me for quite some time. And along my journey, I grew up in the ranks. I became a manager very young, straight from my university, 2 years into my workspace. So it meant that I was in a space of people who were speaking at a strategic level. And so I grew quickly into the ranks. And so one time, I get to this space where people speak business, speak money. So in all our town hall meetings, before I shifted from employment to self-employment, in all our town hall meetings, the town hall is really one where you gather all the staff to speak. I would understand everyone's presentation apart from the CFO. The engineer, the CTO comes, talks, I've understood. The procurement person, you try to understand. The chief operation, but when the CFO will stand to speak, my mind would shut off. A young, brilliant engineer, being paid well but broke every 18th of the month.
Many people can relate with that.
Like I would have to borrow money to take me until the 25th of the month when we are paid. So for me, it turned something into my mind to say, there is something fundamentally wrong. Like, there's something fundamentally wrong. So when I went through to do my upgrade, I've always followed my heart. So along my engineering career, transition from engineering to human resource to deal with people because the world is there, it has a lot of people. And then amidst there, in 2020, I went back to do my master's, and I said, I would love to do a master's in engineering. I have enough engineering. I want to do a master's in HR. I've practiced it on the highest level I can. I will go and be a master in finance. So my MBA is in finance and accounting, but for the sole reason to just see if it has an answer. Because in even education, sometimes they don't have the answer, like structure. But what I noticed at the MBA, it didn't teach me how to handle money, but it gave me language for money. So there are some terms now when I go into the space of finances,
And
I
the CFO
know.
speaks.
I can know. Yeah? You know, when the CFO would speak words like amortization, EBITDA, I'm like saying, come on, can you break it down for me to understand it? Because you're speaking to everyone in the company. So now, because I don't have an ordinary background in finance, like BCom or whatever it is, finance and accounting, I come to speak to the ordinary person because when I went into that journey, I have zeroed down onto the journey of money and investment because people don't understand it. So I've used my MBA in finance. It has given me language. And then I've gone back to study other certifications, like I've told you, from the Chartered Institute of Securities and Investments, which talks about bonds, treasury bills, and what. UK Institute, but we have an affiliation here with the Uganda Banks, the Uganda Banking Institute. So yeah, so now everything I do, if you go to my socials, you will find me writing about money. Like I am an ordinary person who can break down very critical financial matters to my 8-year or HI. That's a story guy in finance.
Am I safe to say that you love money?
Are you safe to say that I love money? I don't know if I could say that because money gives options for sure. I want to have the money, but you're safe to say that I want to help myself because the information I get is first for myself. I first try it on me. Wealth is very critical. Even the Bible says that money answers everything. So love is a strong word, but I know that I will want to have the money because it solves many options. Like it gives me options. Takes care of my family, for the fees. Like it's hard to work without money, but there's something beyond money. but money is a very fundamental survival tool in the world. Without it, we wouldn't be having this podcast. You wouldn't be watching us without money. Like, you can't, you need data and watch us and stuff like that. So I don't know if I can say I love money, but all I can say that I want to have it, first learn it, to have it, try to give me options, because money gives you options, and then to help other people, the ordinary people, to also understand it and grow it. Not just speaking from theory. Then you find me, I'm also broke. I don't want that. That's why I don't talk about things I don't what? I don't
You
practice.
don't, because most people tend to love money. They say, oh, I love money, I love money, I love money. But like you said, the people that love money the most are the people that are always broke. So for them, the love of money is, let me get the money, spend the money, and just live.
Yes.
And for them, it's, oh, I love money. When you talk about money and understanding money and this whole money concept, what we get to hear on a daily is make money, save money, invest money. Is there any more story beyond make, invest, and save?
Of course, absolutely. Money is a very wide topic, but I've now come to believe it's something I've always had. It may sound a cliche, but I'll explain. It's something I've always had, but now I understand it much better. Beyond that, what you're saying of save, invest, earn, and there's a whole cycle, but beyond that is behavior and psychology. Beyond that, it sounds so cliche, but it is hard to grow well with some behaviors. You may be Chartered Institute, Chartered who, what, MBA, but your behaviors are going to determine your finances. That's one thing I've noticed. Back then, of course, the technical knowledge is important, but beyond, when you go to the SI unit, beyond the technical knowledge is the behavior. So for me, it's first behavior. I've learned investment clubs. Some have failed. Okay, I wouldn't say some, but I would say one has failed. One has been extremely successful. But you see, investment clubs are very easy. We set a figure, bring the money, save, invest, and grow it. Sounds so simple. But you know what kills it? Everyone knows the amount they are supposed to save. That's technical knowledge. Everyone knows when they are supposed to sell it before the end of the month. Everyone knows we are supposed to put it in a certain place. That's all technical knowledge. But when it comes to the real practice, the me getting that money and investing it is behavior. I can choose to or not. If I don't, then it breaks a cycle. If I do, then I have allowed my behavior to grow the finances. So in every space, money, behavior, and psychology comes first. What is your philosophy about money? If you say that, okay, money is bad, that's only the philosophy, and so it will lead you to a certain result. If you say that money gives me option, it's also a philosophy that you have given to yourself, it's like a mindset, it will also take you to somewhere. So beyond that technical knowledge, before even we talk about that, is the basis. First real basis is mindset. Then, like when you're building the block, after mindset is behavior, because the mindset leads to behavior. And after behavior is now where technical knowledge seeks to build the actual money. Yeah, so that's what I can say beyond that, below that.
This podcast is going to be amazing. Get your cup of tea and start seeking, because you need it. I mean, you're going to talk money. Just did you grow up from money?
No, of course, definitely.
You're not growing up from money. Did it kind of shift the way you thought about money? Or you were
Absolutely.
there to make the money? How did you tell us this a little brief about your background, that is you growing up and how it has shaped your thinking about money? Because background and where you grow up from often shapes how we think about money. So how did your background and growing up shape the way you look at money?
Yeah, very good question. Well, born many years ago, I hail from Misheni and Kabale. My mom passed on at the age of 7. My dad passed on at the age of 12. I think 15. I really did grow up so much with them. So I grew up without both parents. So you're growing up from this family where you are taken care of by different people. You get? So the mindset that you're growing up with is that you are always on the wall. Like, there's not always enough for me. So a time of going back to school fees, everyone has to collect the money. Like somehow, hello, uncle, you bring out money. So background is very key, but it depends on how you see it and how you interpret it. So for me, when I grew up and I realized that, by the way, okay, yes, I've grown up, I've not always been somebody in school, but I've been an average student, and all my hobbies will attest to that. It's only when I started getting to A-level and a bit high school, when I became serious with books, that you would see some kind of brilliant guy, but below that, tough stuff. So you grow up, I grew up from this family where money was scarce always, you know. And so what that does to my mindset is to grow up knowing that money is scarce. Even when people tell you dream big, your dream does not go beyond, as a guy, go beyond your nose, because a dream comes from something innately on your mind. That's why they tell you things like vision boards, because vision boards try to remove that operating system in the mind to try to give you pictures that you can
Be wired with your dreams.
like be wired with your dreams. So for me, my background worked both in a disadvantaged way and an advantaged way.
But
So
again, it was
yeah.
for you and not for you.
So the against bit is it created the operating system, which made me also operate with behaviors that lead to brokenness. You get the point? So I get my salary, and what's the first thing I do is to solve either all the debts and eat it, and by 18th I'm broke. It's a wrong way to live. And now I know better. And, but also the fact that I came up from a poor background, it motivates me to say, there's this quote which I've had many times. If you come from a poor family, don't allow a poor family to come from you.
Break it.
Yeah, so for me it has motivated me to say, okay, I don't want my children and my parents who have raised me to struggle like the way I did when
You don't
I was,
have to be used as an example. My parents were poor.
My parents were poor. So if you come from a poor family like me, a poor family shouldn't come from you, and it's very, very possible. I've seen it, I've tested it. There's a lot of ways people can create money, can create value, and get money in this world. Yeah. So
Growing up from a background like yours, the one that you just described here, people are taking care of you because and then you're an orphan. So people have to initially come in to help to one you or the other. Growing up in the African setting, you are required. It's automatically. Once you make it, you start taking care of the people and we've labeled it black tax.
Yes, yes.
You know? Have you been a victim of black tax, number one? Do you think that people should normalize black tax? Is it selfish? There are many questions in one. Is it selfish for one to want to set the foundations? They're like, you know what, I appreciate the fact that I was taken care of, but I'm going to first set up the right foundation. After setting my foundations, I'm going to go back now and be able to carry out the black tax peacefully because I have the foundation, which I'm able to do what? Take care of these other people. What is your whole thought about this whole black tax thing? Have you been victim?
okay, thank you for that question, Sandra. It's wide, but that's what I can say. Black tax is real. I've been there and I'm still there. Like, it seems like not to go away, except when now probably you get a generation now where you have become financially literate and you've made money. At one point, the black tax is a good one. Like, you're just taking care of them. I'm a Christian because the Bible says take care of your parents. It says it, like, you know. Yeah, but even beyond honor, it really says take care of your relatives. Like, it really says that. So now, you want that good black tax where you don't have to, but you must, like you should, because out of honor. So that said, that black tax is there. I've been faced by it, and I'm still faced by it. This is my thought about it. It's those who have done math. It's not an either or. It's an and. So it's not like I first stabilize. That's my thought. I first stabilize myself, then no, I can do them concurrently. You get the point, eh? What's it about that? I can do them concurrently. So it is an and, that as I set the foundation and I still take care of. So it is a slow space, because someone can choose two paths. One can say, to my black tax, first leave me alone. Let me build. There's that path. Then you come back. The challenge with that is that you may come back late. So yeah, you could come back late and then you realize that yes, you have the foundation, but it's now late to do it, and then you live with a regret. But it seems faster, logically. I've not tried it. It seems faster. Whereas the one I've tried is that as I set the foundation and I take care of in the same time. So it looks slower, but it's more peaceful, it's more fulfilling. That when you get the finances, you build the foundation, like let's say you get 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. So you say 6, as an exercise, are hypothetical. 6, build the foundation. 4 is helping along the way. That's why you do like some parties, either like do life, because life is beyond really money. Money is very key. It gives us the options, but you still do life as you make it, so that you don't have to regret. So it's not an either or, it's an and case. So I get the money, build the foundation, but take care. Build the foundation, but take care, but have fun. Build the foundation, but be there with the people who have raised me. And so that's how I look at it.
The way we are taught.
Like I said, that's my
You
philosophy.
say, yes, your philosophy,
Yes.
but the way we are taught, most people say that Nyaka Jechudimu, the years we are in, when you're listening to all these, I don't want to call them motivational speakers and stuff like that, they're saying, work, you'll enjoy tomorrow. But what I'm hearing this say is that we should work and enjoy, work and enjoy.
That's
Tomorrow
my philosophy. Tomorrow is not guaranteed.
tomorrow is not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed. I mean, you will make the money. Indeed, work hard. The Bible says that. So my philosophy comes straight from the Bible. You really need to work hard. Like now, for those of you who are running businesses and self-employment, you will know, like now me, I struggle with knowing boundaries of when to start and when to stop. I work deep in the night. I've seen you do that. I work, like I have to force myself to know that, by the way, I have a family to live, I have a life to live. So I intentionally force the pause times in my calendar. My wife knows this. Usually most of the podcasts, we do them with her. Next time I'll be here with her. So that I don't have to say something, you have to look at the wife to see if what Janet is saying is true. But for a very long time, my philosophy has always been, tomorrow is not guaranteed, make the money, but enjoy it along the way. 10 years ago, I was 10 years younger. So if I'm working for 10 years without enjoying it, what am I enjoying 10 years after? Yes, I'm still a young man, but 10 years.
Fixation, is that gym that done there?
So for us, every year with my wife, we go away and we plan the year. But the first thing we put in it, like real plan, get a real book, not even phones, and write. We first book out all birthdays of the children and ourselves, book out all birthdays of our siblings. That's by my uncle, my auntie, my wife's parents, and the siblings. Like we want to first know that that's life. And we want to celebrate them. When that day comes, we book them. When we have done it on paper, we then go on the phone and put it in the Google Calendar so that it can remind you. A simple call, hello mommy, happy birthday. Or send, CJ, 32,000?
The 50K.
Around, 32. It's a whole meal, CJ, 32 plus transport to deliver. You say breakfast, and that's life. So for me, because I'm a workaholic, if I don't schedule the fun in, I will not have the fun. But for a very long time, all anniversaries are celebrated. I've been married for 10 years, 4 children, 2 of whom are twins. That's why I'm a Salongo. And the short form of Salongo is Sir. That is why she's saying Sir. But yes, for me, I don't believe in a philosophy of work. And like indeed, that thing will be there. Work today so to play tomorrow. But along the way, play some call. Go to the beach, travel, go to celebrate anniversary. Tomorrow is not guaranteed.
2 years, I don't know, a couple of months, I'm going to use the word, I don't want to put years because I'm not sure how many years they are. A couple of months, you put down the ties, men like calling them the ties, the people that work from 9 to 5.
Yes.
You walked away from your big job. I want to call it big job. You walked away from that salary, I don't want to call it mindset, but you walked away from the employment world. And you came down to the streets. What, I don't know. Given your position, given how much your career had grown, for those who don't know, you had really, really grown big time in career. You grew your career at certain points, as then you wake up one morning. Okay, I don't think it was one morning, because I believe your one must not really apply. But you sit down and tell yourself, I'm walking away from this life that I've created here. Joseph, how? Anyone would dare to be in the position you are in. Why did you make that decision?
I will be honest, I was pushed, so I did walk away. You know where life pushes you. But this is what I can say, is that yes, indeed, I've been a planner, and some people who may be watching me may know my story. I've written it. It is really on social media. So I was working for Umeme for quite a long time, and I worked for Umeme for 12 years. So Umeme, for many of you don't know, you may be watching this 100 years from now. It was the biggest utility company in Uganda before it transitioned from a private company, not private, but from Umeme, which had a possession like 20 years. By possession, in the layman, like a contract, where you are in Uganda for 20 years, after 20 years I had to go. And then it goes to government, which is currently UADCL. So in 2020, those of you who have read my story, I sat down. We knew it was public knowledge that Umeme would end on 31st March 2025. It was public knowledge. Inside the company, we knew it. Even the public knew it. So it wasn't something that was abrupt. But then, in knowing it, we didn't know what would happen. Like, it wasn't guaranteed that every Umeme was just going to transition straight to government. So weren't guaranteed that all of us would stay with jobs. But in 2020, I saw friends of mine lose jobs. In other companies, COVID year. In other companies, we didn't lose people. But in other companies, guys who were more brilliant than me, earning more money. And I'm seeing these guys losing jobs and are in my inbox and, you know, we are chatting and I'm like, I got fear in 2020
Anything can happen.
that anything can happen. The brilliant young man
Can be on the streets.
can be on the streets anytime. So I quickly, because I'm a forward thinker, I quickly sat down and with my wife in COVID time when we would be at home, I would wake up. We're not going to work. I was an essential worker because I was working in electricity. I'm an electrical engineer. I had an essential car, a double cabin, which was a company car. I had, like name it, I
The
could
company
move.
was taking care of
of
you,
me.
that you were in a good space.
Exactly. But then that thing shook me. When I really observed myself, now, the earlier story where I told you that I used to be broke on 18, of course I turned it around 2014, 15, so I started becoming a bit financially stable, so I started saving, like putting aside money, like, you know. But 2020 was a year when I thought deeply about the future. So from 2020 to the time the Umeme concession was to end was exactly 4 years. If you give a quotation from around April when COVID hit, so I started thinking in June. So I said, I have a company car, I didn't have a personal car. I have a company laptop, I have no personal laptop. I, like, you know,
Everything is company,
everything is
company,
company.
company,
I said,
company.
my God, this is very dangerous way to live. And that is where now the power of focus comes in, like the power of laser focus. When you are laser focused, you achieve almost anything you want. And then secondly, you give direction to your money. Because for the other years, I don't know why I never thought about it. Because even when I joined Umeme, it was public knowledge that Umeme concession was ending on 31st March. But it's not like it was out there so much, but we knew it on paper that 20 years was coming. So when I said I didn't walk away, I was pushed. But I was pushed when I was on the edge. It's not like I was not dragged. I was not dragged, then a push, no. I was right at the edge. And what I mean by that is that, so I knew that there's a possibility of me not having a job by 31st March, so I planned for 4 years. So I sat down with my wife, who wrote everything that an unemployed person fears, goes through, and then we work towards not being that an unemployed person. So we bought our car in 2020, that same COVID year. Okay, it was a small fuel-friendly car.
And it was a car, at least it's not a company
Yeah,
car.
exactly. Bought a laptop. When I went back to school, that's when I knew that the education I'm going to study should really help me outside what? Employment.
Outside.
So I realized, I said, a master's engineering can't, okay, I don't know, but I don't think, except if I'm going to go into a job. And also, I've always had this idea of risk. I want to be out there and test my theories. If they fail, then I will know I failed.
You try. It's better to try than not to try.
Then exactly. So for me, for 4 years, I put down exactly, cleared all my loans, completed my home, bought that car, like went back for that MBA. I did everything and then set a target of having like a 2 to 3 year gross salary saved away. So that if things become tough, I can go back and look for a job. But when I've not struggled, I have a 3 years kind of
So your
salary.
emergency fund was a heavy one.
It had to be, because you want to remove all issues whatsoever. You want to be comfortable when you're going to hustle. And the rest is history. 31st March came, and I didn't cross over to UDCL. I went now, the reality now came of to put into practice what I had prepared for 4 years. In the 4 years, I read books about money. Like, there's no book I didn't read about business, but there are some things you only experience when you are in the actual field. But for me, I'm glad that the 4 years were there, because I was at the edge. So by the time they pushed, because I've always wanted to jump at it, but for the fall, yeah. Okay, ready, yeah, a bit, yeah. So that's how I went. So now it's been a year.
How has the 1 year
And we've survived, no loans. I create
Keyword,
value.
no loans.
Yes, that's a very key word. I mean, you guys, some of you may be bankers. Just go to your bank and you can type it and say, but let's look at Joseph Rwabutomise. I mean, does he have loans? He may be lying to us. I don't have any loans with the bank. I have no loan with the SACCO. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to avoid. And when I talk about loans, I'm not talking about loans being personal loans, personal what we call consumer loans, not advisable. Business loans, sometimes they are inevitable, or many times they are inevitable. So when I'm talking about debt, I'm talking about personal debt, which is usually consumer debt.
You said you worked in HR.
I worked in VRing, I worked in HR, yes.
So the people that are in employment,
Yes.
this is what happens. They tend to get bank loans, they have SAPO loans, then they have loans from other financial institutions. So you find a person has about 3-4 loans. And they are surviving. You get to get, they're surviving on that particular life. What do you say in that?
It's a very fundamental work. Like I've been in a space and I know we need many of you. In fact, you need to double it down like so much. I mean it. And anyone who is listening to me when it comes to finances, you know that money is an issue. So I worked in HR and I was privileged to be in charge of recruitment. I was one of the people who would sign these letters of loans, giving people loans. I knew how much money people earned. And I had the privilege of knowing some of these people in their private lives, 30, 40, 20, 10, because even 10 is a very good salary in a while.
In Uganda these days, 3 is a good salary.
Yeah, though you can make it in a day. Or, okay, yeah, depending on the value.
I can say that.
No, like really, even when I was employed, yeah, but not at that scale. Okay, you can make it in a day or what, but not at the scale because it's hard to do two things at the same time. So it's hard to be extremely successful in business while you're extremely successful employing. One thing will give way, but I know some who have done it, but there are very few. So back to your question, behavior. So for me, I would sign the letters. Like I'm looking at this person, and what's the loan going for? School fees. And I'm like, that's a consumer loan. Like, with the amount of money you have, you should just, like all factors given, you will tell me that you don't know me, I have to take care of so and so. Like we are all in that kind of situation. I have to take care of other people, even before you take care of it. But the point is, the loans are predominantly, so 90%, and aligned with the research and science out there, was highly behavioral. Loans that could have been avoided. I've been in loans myself. I've struggled with loans myself. So I'm speaking from an informed point of view. My wife will attest, I've even said it on one of another podcast. I mean, the time I took a loan, a huge loan, and after cutting off the loan and giving my wife the monthly fees to take care of home, I would remain with only 100K to take me through the month. And I didn't want to go to any money lender because I knew I was going to dig myself further. So the only option was one, to learn how to create value, to add onto the 100K. And that's where I would think a bit of my business acumen started from. And for the years I survived on a 100K salary, I never went back for any loan. No bank loan, no SACCO loan. But now I started realizing, what are the skills I have that can make me money? Like in reality, I knew how to do proposals, I knew how to write, I knew how to speak. That's when my hosting, emceeing picked up, because I started putting my mind to just beyond, hey, that's my book.
Yes,
Yeah.
that emceeing for the last how many years?
Like 15. So this book, I wrote it to help people learn how to earn from what? From speaking. So I wrote it in 2020. Actually, it's the same year. When I was reflecting, I said, some of these things will have to keep the brand moving. But it teaches people how to learn, to earn from speaking. So when I was earning 100K take home, like the remaining balance, I had to ask myself, what do I know how to do? So beyond just getting the microphone and speak, so I had to learn marketing. So now marketing is not taught in my kind of work. Engineering, I did study marketing, did study money. But when you're pushed to the wall, now you learn marketing, you learn how to inbox people and say, by the way, I can do this for you. But when you salary enough, 800K, 1M, 2M, your mind is not pushed to the wall to go and say, let me talk to Sandra and I can do marketing for her if you have a skill of marketing. So anyway, that's a whole topic. But yes, it was highly behavioral. I know what it means to be in a loan, where you're stressed, where that month nothing has come in, and yet for all the years I was servicing the loan, which was really fine, I went for the maximum. I said no for the, it's called minimum, where they tell you that, you take this loan, but for the highest you can pay it if you stretch yourself is this. So mine was 5, and it was coinciding with the 2020 around there. So by the time we went out of COVID and what was done. So, but my wife will tell you, we thought outside the box. We did everything to create value to get money, because money comes only from value, full stop. Nothing less, nothing more. So people go into salary loans, highly behavioral, they think they need it, but in many cases they just want it, they just want, and they don't think outside the box of how can I make this money which I want to create, get from side. Now this is different from if you're getting the loan for business, because even for business, you must be a good business person, you can get it and get lost, but that's okay, that's life. My MBA research thesis was about debt. Like it was financial capability, which is the mind, plus debt, like usage of debt for performance of business. And we are taught, we even know in research, 9 out of 10 businesses fail. So you get a salary loan and the business still fails.
And it's a side hustle you did there for your future.
Yes, yeah, so yeah.
Would you recommend someone out there to take a loan to build a house? Like it's your salary loan, it's the only income money you have, and then you take the loan to build a house. Like I have access to loan, and I take a loan to build my home. Is that
Tough
something
one.
you'd recommend?
Tough one. For me, innately, I wouldn't. Innately, but I also know the reasoning which someone can give why they want it. So it comes back to what you really want to achieve. Some people come and say, I only have this opportunity to get the loan. I'm not good at saving. This loan or mortgage will force me to save, and mortgages earn less. So they will say, let me get the mortgage, build their home, so that I am forced automatically to save. There's that angle. So as I said, it's like, for me, I would say, not really, but for that angle, someone can define themselves, okay, it works. Because I'm not this kind of person who is very stuck to my philosophies. I truly see through, and I say, okay, you're getting a mortgage because you are indisciplined in saving to get the house. But you know you'll pay more than when you actually save that money to build. But that is hard, because saving is not technical. You can have the technical knowledge. If I save 400K for this number of years, I will build the house in 3 years, until you start. After the end of the month, you have saved 100. After another month, you have not saved.
Like you can even save for like 6 months, 400. After 6 months, kaboom. Since you didn't have an emergency fund, something comes up and all the money is sent out.
Exactly, yeah. So from the angle of that, the mortgage is a forced saving, and people are very poor in behavior. I would say go for it. Like you carry your own cross.
Pay for your home.
But no, you're really paying for your indiscipline. That's like in short. Yeah, because you're indiscipline. Yeah, because you're failing to say, you're saying everything. Say, I have the loan, I can get the money. I don't think I can save diligently 400K for 3 years to build in 3 years. Let me get the loan so that it forces me to cut the 600K per month, because the loan you can't default. They will come for you. They will come for you.
No, when you go for them, they start, you're bad. No, loan. They are poor, but loan officers are not bad people. They're just doing
their job. Yeah.
Your indiscipline has led you there.
Exactly. So you pay for your indiscipline. That's what I would say. But the actual, really financial way would be to just grow your discipline, get your money, learn how to grow your money, and be so highly disciplined, like so resilient, no matter what, come and buy. You're going to stick to what you've said you're going to do. You behave like the loan is already there. That even when an issue comes, you cannot touch your money. You do it in your mind and practice it. It's hard, but highly behavior. And I've done it, I've seen it. I've been in both worlds where I'm forced to save because I have to cover a loan, and in the world where the 4 years before I left employment, where I was forced to save by force, by fire, because I knew there is a possibility of not crossing over. So that now you can see the two worlds. One is forced discipline, the other was self-discipline. Yes.
Wow. Sajazek, you said it's been 1 year. Do you miss your home job? Are the streets hot? Like people say, is it worth it? Do you like it here? The other side, when I said you like it here, it's the other side of the world.
Yes,
the only world I've known for the longest time. The streets, how have the streets been? Kind, rough, slightly risky?
They are very tough, but on my end, very fulfilling. So it's tough because ultimately there are both advantages and disadvantages of both worlds. But I've learned more in 1 year on how to grow wealth and become wise financially than the 12 years I was employed. So I don't think the streets are for everyone. That's what I can say. Some people don't have the behavior to sustain themselves. On the streets, there are traits you should have. I'm even writing a post, 10 traits that a street person should have. Like, number 1 is self-discipline. Not everyone is self-disciplined. Number 2 is focus. I work both in town. I have an office in town, but also an office at home. The discipline of knowing that I can wake up, dress up the way I am, go to my home office, but there is internet, there's Netflix, there's whatever it is, you can go and sit on the sofa and watch a movie. But you say no. And then you work till deep into the night. It takes complete discipline. But the streets teach you how to become financially wise because your life depends on it. Number 2, it teaches you how to build the business. You learn every end of the business. How do you market? How do you talk to clients? How do you close deals? How do you invoice? How do you bargain? And then you start thinking, how do I now start building this system so that I make money even when I am not working directly? So it helps you now to know whom do I employ, where do I start? Because you're going to read about them. It is hard to do that when you're employed, except if you're laser focused and you know you're going out. I did partly. For me, my mindset, like I said, I was already on the wall. So I was pushed when I was ready. Like I was there, like holding on. Do I go there? So sometimes there are people who are watching me and they're saying, I've always wanted to go out, but it is hard to get yourself to the point to jump. It was hard for me, and that's the honest truth. And then some situations push you, but I say they should push you when you have the mindset to survive, like to swim. In the same space, because I was HR, I saw many people who were pushed, but they were dragged. They were not ready. So when they are into the street, they are struggling, they are beating the water.
The waters are deep.
The waters are deep, and I've not looked for a job, to be honest. Like, occasionally people ask me.
A minute. If you got a job, if they gave you an offer right now, some good dollars, would you take it?
It has to be bigger than my dream. It really has to be bigger. And why I say that is this. You see, right now when you're into the street, if you don't have something you're building, anything can take you. Because you say, like the opportunity cost, like right now I realize if I get back to full time, and for me I usually tell people, to answer that question, I usually tell people that I can do a contract. Because the contract doesn't tie me down. And I've done contracts. There are opportunities I've gotten now that I wouldn't have gotten if I was employed. I went to Zambia for 5 weeks on consulting. Guy called and said, are you available for 5 weeks? There's no way I can get leave. Even when I'm on leave, they will ask me.
You'll still be working.
You'll still be working. So there are deals you can't get. So it's a tricky thing. Me, I say, I can do a contract job. I don't want a permanent job. That's number 1. But even 2, that contract job, it's going to put me away from what I'm building now. Like, I know it. Because I'll be thinking about that contract and not my business. So you have to weigh the advantages so much. It could be you want to build the capital and then you say, let me divert a bit and come back. I don't think I would take anything which is not contract. Contract is the way to go. It gives you the adrenaline. And that's why the young people now, the Gen Zs, they do what the technical term is called the gig economy. The gig economy, you do your thing. You want to do 3 jobs, but without being so much stuck
to
anyone specific place. So when I take up a job, it has to I have to really look at it and shouldn't be permanent. It shouldn't be permanent. But for now, there's something I'm building big, and I know that if I took a job, I would definitely have to pause everything I'm doing. So the question will be, is it worth it? What do I take? What do I go with?
Sir Jose is one person whom I've seen over 10 that is so passionate about the boy child. You know this thing of girl child. Hey, he does not want to know. I don't want to say he does not want to know anything about the girl child, but he's trying to build most of his career around the boy child mentorship and training the boy child. Tell us why the boy child? You have is it blueprints boy mentorship? Before you tell us about blueprint and we get into the detail of what you're really building, what is it with the boy child? What excites you about the boy child? We're integrated growing up. Have you seen a generation of, I keep telling people we have an entire generation of men who has no vision.
Men who are boys, eh?
Men who are boys, even they are no longer boys. I don't even know how to describe them. But why the boy child?
Okay, long story short, because usually these podcasts are not so long, but growing up without a father, of course, has a lot to do with my passion for the boy child. So the whole idea is I've grown up a fighter. So like many African traditional families, my family, my relationship between my mom and dad were not the best. So I predominantly grew up with my mom. Even by the time my father died, we were not with him. So with that kind of background, I grew up a fighter. My mom died at 7 years and was staying with my mom. So you know that nothing comes on a silver platter. So I got to secondary, very low self-esteem, stink boy, very shy, don't have anyone to look up to so much. My guardians did a very tremendous job. My uncle, Biarahanga Justus, and my Aunt Kate, Mrs. Biarahanga, did a tremendous job in the best way they could do. But you see, the life of a boy is developed with community. I have a very lovely community of relatives. So, but growing up in that time, I'm in a single-sex school, Namilyango College. Books are like number one. The rest of the things, no one is teaching you character. No one is teaching you how do you make money, how do you work. You go to university and you are alone. And I'm like thinking that's not the right way in the world. God did not create us to be alone. I mean, communities where they have created spaces where people are mentored. You're doing a good job in the mentorship. The person cries more than when they're not there. So for me, seeing that I was a young man growing up without any kind of mentorship, knocking walls, going to kukwana a girl and they chuck you, have no one to tell, you know. No one even to tell you how do you do it. Because we think a boy child just grows, they just grow what? Like automatically. No. No one grows automatically. No one, even a tree doesn't grow automatically. Even a pregnancy, like everything that grows is taken care of. A pregnancy of 9 months is taken care of to become 9 months. A tree is watered. A building is built. Then a man, you go randomly. So you find you started at the age of 13, but in a 40-year body. So this is started. So for me, I saw that, and when I went into the work world, still there's something very few meters, and that is one of the reasons that made me shift from engineering to the human. So the human capital gave me an ability to be able to teach and mentor people. In Umeme, I was in charge of the young people. Give them to me, I will build them. And even now when they watch me, they say, that is our course. Outside work, they support me, they have gifted me. They do it because there's mentorship. So the reason behind the boy child was to say a boy child shouldn't grow randomly. So myself and my colleague, John Mugabe, we came together, we were passionate about the boy child. We said, let's start up Boys Blueprint Mentorship, BBM. And the sole reason is one, to develop a grounded character man, but our brand is character and entrepreneurship. Another person will say character and maybe personal brand. That's also ours is first get the character.
The rest shall follow.
Then out on character, the other leg on BBM is entrepreneurship. So we mentor the boy from the age of 9 to around 30. So 9 to 12 is the first young people. We teach them age-appropriate things, sanitation, work, blah, blah. Then the teenager is the core, 13 to 19. Those ones, sexual abuse, drug abuse, peer pressure, like name it, how do you excel in school, career guidance. That is where the most of the boys go wrong. That's why I got pimples and I had low self-esteem because I had pimples. You have to put Colgate on one pimple for it to disappear because I'm telling you we struggle with a lot of things. Yet someone could come and tell you and I said, it is fine, it's okay. So then we also do now, then from 20 to 23, 24, depending on the university course or diploma, post certificate that you have done, and then the young professional man from 24 around 30. Then the ecosystem starts. The excellent people through the program then become like kind of mentors. So it's still young, and we're still figuring it out as we move on, but that is the story behind the Boys Blueprint, to put a space where Joseph at Namilyango College will have a space of men they can talk to who have lived real life, but on an intentional level, not just once in a while. Bring a man to speak to us. I don't hear from a man again at 30 years. Yeah.
Parents, schools, I think even the entire generation, WhatsApp would tend to be alive. You know, when someone comes up with things like this, we tend to take them for granted. But that all truth is that the generation that we are living in is a bit sad. We don't have men anymore. We do not. And I say this, I'm a mother to a boy, and I'm going to say this with a happy heart, that the rise of boys who are men is so terrifying, so impatient with life, making a lot of, I don't know, bad decisions. They don't want to be responsible. You're busy fornicating, sleeping around. At that age, you're not supposed to be sleeping around, and you're getting girls pregnant, and you're not being responsible. And it has led us to just a sad society. So when you have our people like this, Joseph and you said John, come up and put programs like this in place, and they say we are focusing on the boy child, I feel like it's time for us to jar on and, you know, call them, support with them, collaborate with them, so that they're in schools, they're even due to go to universities, they're in universities, they're even in churches. We are glad that he's in 2 ministries, he said he's a reverend, even in 2 churches, so that they get to teach these boys that you have to, number one, bottom line, you need both.
Yes.
Post character, boss, and then the rest. And then at least we can change the story. I believe you guys are going to change the story. I believe the community needs you because
No,
it's bloody out there.
No, it does. He recently went to a school on Rwabutomise Road, and the director was telling us I think they have around 1,300 students, so about around 700, 600 boys. And the director was telling us, you know, we're having an issue. A boy child is so indisciplined, they're always disturbing our girls, you know, all that kind of stuff. And you could see in her eyes, she was saying, I was saying, John, please, when I'm coming back, we need you. Like, there's something we offer to the schools that schools are struggling with, and that's discipline and boys and men of character. Because in every boy is a man in the making, and the man is not made in the old age. The man is made at the young age. So we talked to the boys, and boys came speaking to us, and you can see the pain in their eyes. No one is telling them, but when you take drugs, you bury your career. When you sleep at a young age, you sleep around, you are buried, and literally you are actually burying your destiny, your career, because they all have consequences. You take drugs. I've had people even in my very close suburb who have been affected by drugs, and I see very brilliant young man, young woman going into this direction, and the career is going because you are putting a shot in your mind. Like when you decide to sleep with that girl on the bed, you know consequences are going to happen. You can get pregnant, you can get STD. That's literally burying the career. Like literally. So your benefit, that peer pressure of someone is doing something good and also want to do it, so you want to go all in, either rob or disturb your parent, you are burying your career. Boys need to be taught how to live. They need to be taught how to grow. It's not that it comes automatically. Communication, sex, money, drugs, these things are taught. For us, where with the generation we grew randomly, and we thank God we passed through it.
Now, why we grew randomly and were able to make it, we are not exposed. We didn't have the social media, we didn't have phones, we didn't have the internet. But today's generation is, oh my goodness,
Very
exposed.
yeah.
So I think they are more prone to getting these vices. And
Social media it has added on to that. Peer pressure, social media, comparison. Comparison is a thief of joy. Pornography, masturbation, those things cut your career. Like they don't maximize you. And these are things which are not covered by the moral child. Even a man, all men. Because when you do those things in a secret, you won't be able to speak with confidence, because in your psychological mind is telling you, even though they don't know, you say now you are talking to us about what? Like psychologically, it even has an effect. There's a scientific term to it that is very hard to maximize yourself and speak from your heart and be able to stand as a man when you're scrambling in some areas at the back. You can struggle in other things like business and what. Those may not affect you so much, but the things which affect the body and the spirit and soul will be seen even in the way you behave. They will be seen. Yeah.
so schools, parents, the world, we are blessed. Thank you so much for the work we're doing.
Thank you.
Now, on this channel, let's talk to Joseph, the businessman, Joseph, the entrepreneur, in this journey.
Have you ever sat down and are there moments when you get and you doubt yourself? You're like, am I on track? This whole business thing. People say that business, the Uganda say business, yagala kupta.
Yes.
And you want to take off. Have you had moments when you doubted that you channel as a businessman and as a entrepreneur and you felt like giving up?
Giving up, no. You know, I think if I'm explaining, the kind of mindset I went in a business was no retreat,
No
no
surrender.
surrender. So even when it is hard, like in my mind, like it is meeting a mindset which already has a no retreat, no surrender mindset. So it can be hard, but I never bring myself to a point where I'm saying I am giving up. Like it's not an option. I don't see it, and then when I give up, then what? Like I've never really thought about that. But if you say, has it been hard? Definitely it is hard. Like you put in time, but what makes it lighter is when you do the things you love. Yeah, because now I'm building a business on finance. I'm building a business on helping other companies to develop real leadership. It is something I did even when I was still employed. I even chose it. I chose human capital development from engineering. So when I went into the space of work, when I'm mentoring, when I'm coaching, that's why I think even BBM is there, because I see a whole when I see a boy, I see a client. Like, okay, client is business-like, but a boy, also it's a non-profit. But when I see a boy, I see a person who can be touched and taken forward. So for me, my whole life is now built on when I wake up in the morning, have I slept that day when I have added a week to my business? Have I helped people in finance? So I am building an ecosystem. And that ecosystem challenges me. I love the challenge. It is fulfilling. Then the times when it is hard, like those hard times have come, but I've not been, maybe not yet, but I've not been at a point where I say, oh my God, it's so hard because the things I write about and learn, it is first for me. I'm selfish for me, but in a good way, that I want to first learn. Then when I am learning, I'm teaching. So I learned, for example, in business, I've read many business books, but then you practice. Ultimately, to make money, you have to create value. Ultimately. So now when I learn and I say, now what do you mean by value? Then I go and dig deep. I read, I put. I read, I learn. So I fail more than I learn. But in the times which I actually succeed, and those times when clients come out and seek my services, seek Blueprint Leadership Group, which is a personality company, those offers that we give, company will call and say, we have a leadership training that we want to offer. Or we have team building. Or we do health and safety. We need auditing in health. We have done companies auditing health and safety. Is it registered? You get into a space and the company, the first company which gave us a health and safety deal, they pushed me for VAT. I didn't have VAT. Now, I'm like saying, God, 2 days you do VAT, you are pushed to learn how to return, that every month you have, so now we are VAT registered and all that stuff, but they're all learned on you learn how to pilot the plane while flying it.
While flying it, you're up there in the air and
Yeah.
you're up in the air, but you make sure that you don't have to fall. You're not falling.
No.
You have to stay
Yes.
there like.
And you must do the thing you love. That's why I say, when you say, would you get a job? I really can't answer that 100%. Like, I need to see the terms and conditions.
Blowing like something.
That's be good, but or even maybe aligning me already with what I want to do. Someone can come and say, I don't know how example I can give because I don't well in my
Maybe
mind.
just from what you're saying, let me just give you an example. Someone come and say, you see this, we are giving you 100 schools globally, which you go in at. Do a mindset shift in the boy child.
Now, I would go for that one. And chances are, if I'm designing that DM for me to be a collaboration and employment. Because I'll be saying I have in the BBM, you have the concept, you have the skills probably. Let's sit down and do a memorandum, like something like that. Then you saying, I want you to be the chief, you are the head, we are paying you a salary. It would mean BBM is gone. It would mean Blueprint is on the side, in the category. Because as I push this thing, although I love it, it has to be a conscious decision that I've accepted to go for it, but I know the downside of it. Someone will say, but you can do both of them. I know, but it's hard. We've tried it. extreme, because I will be there. Yes, I'm the chief of all these boys' schools that you have given me, and the client calls me and they want blueprint, which is not yet with the system that is required. And some clients want you as a person. In the kind of work we do in consulting, they want you. They want John Maxwell. They want Vusi. Yet they have put up companies which have systems. But the guy said, we want you. So yeah.
And Fosi, I love Fosi so much.
Yes.
So, Josie, out of curiosity, impacts, money first or impact? Or you want-
Definitely impact, and money comes out of. If you chase impact, you chase fulfillment, I can guarantee the money followed. That statement was told to me before, and I need to believe. Okay, I don't know if I need to believe it, but it did make sense to me. But now that I am there to create value, my deeper inner strength comes from. Like I can do something I can do for free. Eventually, when someone sees the results, they come and say, can you give us your services? They will pay. But if I can't do it for free and I'm dragged, chances I'm there only for the money. And there are those deals. We teach a course under Blueprint Leadership Group called Start Your Side Hustle, how to start and grow your side hustle, while they're still employed or out of employment. But one of the things we teach is that on the issue of making money, there are some side hustles you'll have to do just for the sake of making money, as you build the ones where impact is. So that's one of the philosophy. You need the money, you need to survive, you need to pay rent, you need to pay kids' fees. So as you do the one which has leveraged deeper, which may not be bringing in the money now, get other deals to bring in money. So sometimes will not be so much fulfilling, but they are giving you the money. So impact first, generally as a principle, then learning comes on after.
All right, now, you're a father. And on most, you being an MC, on most of the occasions, I've seen you carry your little ones around.
Yeah.
I've seen you train them. I've seen you teach them public speaking. Like, it's beautiful to watch, but why? And that's really put it like, why? For someone who's watching, where are you moving? Because I don't want to call them so little. I believe, by the way, I believe that earlier you were talking and you're saying they can only learn for 30 minutes and works, but children have a mind. Those guys can grasp anything. Even the things you think they are not watching, they're watching and grasping. But the question is, why are you carrying these children to weddings, to all these things, teaching them public speaking? What it is that? Do you want them to be like daddy? Do you want them, is there something that you're looking out for in particular?
Wow, very good question. Number one, having been in HR, I saw many people who are adults struggling with many life skills, and I knew what the problem was. Sharp. I used to give these people jobs. I would be on the interview panels, 4.8 CGPA. You get your life skills, absolutely bad. And in the workspace, those of you who are watching, who don't know, some of you know, okay, many of you know, to survive in employment, 70% human skills, 30% technical. That is known. We are in a digital world, take your phone and search it out. The percentages may differ at 70% human skills. I saw people in my workspace, I was leading recruitment, leading learning and development, organization effect, like performance of people. I would see that like school-wise, because we have your CV.
So at school they excel.
You excel, at work you're struggling. Not to say that the people who have excelled in school, there are people you learn, there are people who are good at school but also excelling, but they learn the best things. Then I also see mediocre, look at their CV, yeah, secondary, got credit 6 in math, credit what, then it's university, it's not there. But they came to work and they are very good at people skills and soft skills. And those are the guys who are managers. Those are the guys who said, okay, we'd rather get you than we train you. Then you have the knowledge, but then you're going to alienate we're going to create a toxic environment. So it is from that angle. I came to realize that kids, now I read a bit about kids, like I've said, mentorship and coaching is my thing. So I noticed that these people, the school did the tick on the CV, but they did do a good tick on the socials. So I went back and studied and I said, what skills do I see among people I am employing, people I've worked with in events that have made them survive that they have that make them survive with or without jobs. Like in life, I came up with 8 skills. There's no time to talk about all of them. But the top 3, number 1, communication skill. You're a good communicator. I rose up in my ranks in the workplace. Even you where you're working right now, you may even put in your head a picture. People who are in a high position are good communicators. Usually, out of 10, 9 are good. Just a few of those who are technically good, but not good communicators. So communication skill, even now, is like top number 1 skill. In many sites, they cite it as the top number 1 skill for survival in life. We don't learn communication skills in school, at least not to a level that makes you grow. In secondary, I did learn the communication. So there's even no subject for communication. In my 4 years of engineering at Makerere University, we had as one semester per se called business communication or communication skills.
It was, I think,
But one semester.
yeah, 1 semester.
What are you going to learn into that? So now I said, okay, 1 is communication skill. I know it. It's even top number 1. The second one is selling and like sales, ability to sell. They don't teach that in school. Even business people come up and this one. If you can sell in life, you can sell anything.
And
you can sell your mind, you can bargain, you can close a deal. I created a curriculum for my children for that. I knew school wouldn't do it. So me and my wife, we are highly intentional. And these are not theory stuff. The theory is there, but they do. I like them.
Can we bring our children?
You're already doing a good job. I see you take your children to go and see what you do downtown. They push. You are creating a mindset of business in them. But whether you ever get a job or not, you don't know where they will go. But you should be able to survive. So, selling skill. The third one is financial literacy. They don't teach us money at school. You've heard of that statement. Robert Kiyosaki has drummed it. I've heard it with many people. My first years in primary, 2 and 2P7, closest to money is what? Math. But math is not money, but it is the closest. Because you have to learn 1 plus 1. Secondary, from senior 1 to senior, senior and senior 4, closest I came to money was commerce. Because I didn't do econ, so commerce is what I said, maybe math. But in commerce, I don't teach you money. I learned about types of supermarkets. There's a shop, a difference between a retail shop and those things. A-level, I did PEM technical drawing. The closest again to money is maybe econ and math again, but they are not money. They're just principles. The econ, what do they teach?
I was watching a podcast. And the lady said, in school they were teaching us compound eyes instead of teaching us compound interest. I died.
Exactly. So economics taught me, and not to say they are bad. That's why even the rich people take their kids to school, even when they know. But if you have those who have extremely good money, they determine the education their kids get. Those who have medium money, take them to good schools, but you have to supplement it. Those who are traditional, they say, for me, I have nothing to do. You have a job to do. You can take a kid to any school, but you as a parent, as a guardian, you have the mandate to create your own curriculum. Like, think about it and tell yourself, what are those skills that have helped you to grow, to be successful where you are, and how can you then take them to it? Don't say, I'm busy, I didn't work,
Just have to figure
life
that out.
is an opportunity cost. Even when I was employed, it's a choice. When I was employed, that mindset was there and was developed. So, those are top 3. Communication, when I was employed, even now in self-employment, communication is key. If I cannot communicate, I can't call a client and I saw by that I can offer his service. That is communication, sales, and financial literacy. How do you manage your money? How do you go it? And so as you have done it practically. So for the communication, I take my kids in every event I host. When I'm going to train, we're training at Thrive, was it? Awaken. I came with my daughter just to see. So all speaking engagements, as long as they are available, I bring.
How do you determine? Because how do you determine what's engagement to take the child to? Because there are some engagements that are a bit, number one, go later to the night, but also the environment is a bit.
I don't know. I don't have one where the environment is the heat. All functions, they say, we'll go in the night, that sacrifice, they get to know that, oh, daddy works up to 10. And like, it's normal, it's okay. Yes, there's time for fun because I spend time with them. So, I don't have an environment where it's like, when I go for a conference like that, I know she will not understand anything. But there is something that will be deposited in her. It could be through the way she sees you talk.
They notice.
They will notice, like it's like a sponge. A brain is a sponge. So for me, as long as the event is open for me to move with my child, I do. If it's open to move with my wife, I do. If it's open to move with my staff, I do. So for public speaking, that's how I do it. And then, of course, they speak. We give them speaking challenges, like real stuff. When I go to the event, I talk to the bride and groom and say, by the way, at this moment, I will do the event properly. At around when you're going to come out with me to cut cake, which is almost end, I'll tell my child to invite you. Is it okay? 100% of them. They even need to, they say, sure, that's a unique thing for my wedding. Someone will know that there was some. So they come, they get the mic, because here they won't help them there. They need to get the mic. They need to say, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Sandra and so, as they come to cut cake. That one sentence.
It's like chanting.
Money, we give them products and they sell. Then we make products at home. You push them to go and sell among people. That's selling. Theory, I can get the slides and I teach, but I believe in both theory is a foundation, but practice. We've bought games about money. Robert Kiyosaki has a game about money for kids. The cash flow quadrant, I've bought it for them. Like I know the 8 skills. The one of them is emotional intelligence. You try to put them in an environment where they are going to live it, but then it'll be there for them as a great time for them. So yeah, that's easy.
I introduced my son to Umeme, and when he gives you a loan of 10K, gives you purple money, you're going to bring red money. If he gives you red money, bring in 2 red monies. If he gives you, it could have been money, you bring in 2 good. I'm like, but you're charging 100%. And it's like, are you taking the money or you're not? When you say you're not, okay, what's the less offer you can hear? But if it's not 50%, let me stay with my money and I'm drinking.
Yes.
Did we get to this? But it's exciting to watch.
You're giving them language to be able to speak and language to be able to express financial, business, mind. That language is very important. That's why school is key, because school then just expands the vocabulary and the mind. They meet friends. School is key. The curriculum, I really don't know. It can be improved, but school is key. Even those who did go to school, we are in Uganda here. Whichever country you're watching from, look at all those guys who did go to school and survived. Where are their kids? In school. They know the importance of school, but beyond that, they also know that they need to put them in environments where they will learn that they taught in school.
Guys, we've had that. Joseph, we've talked money. But away from this money, away from the hustle, away from all these things, we want to know, who is the lighter Joseph? What makes you happy? What are your hobbies? Because, like you said, we need to live. So when you're living, the other aspects, who is this lighter person? What do you do?
Wow. I do quite a lot of things. So on a lighter note, I'm a father. I'm a husband to one beautiful sister, Rwabutomise. Together we have 4 children. We've been married for 10 years. I love fun. I am a workaholic. I work hard. But what do you call it? What is going? Like I schedule fun. Like I mentioned, and I schedule.
But if it's for scheduling fun, don't you do? You're just glad to do random fun.
The reasons are there, but if you went for the random fun, chances many times people who do the random fun and never have fun at all. Like from experience, because you wait for it. It's a public holiday will come and pass, and you feel like, where did the public holiday go? Yet me, who knew about it 3 months ago, prior, I enjoyed my public holiday more than the Joseph who never planned that public holiday. Weekend comes and it goes, like for it goes because you never planned it. So I believe in planning, and I also believe in spontaneous fun. But planning gives spontaneity a ground. So on my personal level, I do quite. Like she talked about, I serve in my church, Encounter Church. So in church, I still do the things I do for business, more of. So I teach children.
Wait, when you talk about church, allow me to cut you short, apologies. When you talk about serving with church, how has faith, church ministry shaped you?
So it's everything. Without faith, again, ultimately, for you to survive in the world, you must have a philosophy. Philosophy is how you think about things in life. So for me, my philosophy is embedded in the Christian faith. So it's everything. Without the Christian faith, I will not be integral. I will try to cut corners just to get the money from, I would be shady. So faith is everything. It has shaped me everything. It has shaped my character. It shapes the way I do. If I'm going to you're going to give me your boy child, you will know that I'm not going to do lousy things because of my faith.
Traditional man or modern man? I don't know if you get what I'm saying. The traditional man, our forefathers, modern man, which fella? Are you a traditional modern man?
I even don't know the definition of both. I'm just using for a child of God. Yeah, because, who is a traditional man?
Traditional man is, those fathers of ours, their job is who provided for the home, chimala. Like, I'm not helping you cook, I'm not helping you clean, I'm not helping you with a child. My job is provided. Then the modern man expecting, Stella is tired, can I chip in and clean a bit? She's unwell. Maybe we're in between spaces, and can she go out and maybe do her job or hustle, and I'm staying home with the kids in instances when there is no maid. That could be the modern.
I've heard of those arguments, but what I can say is that I don't think in themselves their real definition of traditional and modern, because someone will call them modern, but with those expectations of what we call traditional man. Now we need to know the phase of time and life we are living in. Now that traditional man you've explained, if we truly define tradition, its core was the early man who went to hunt. And he went to hunt and had the probability of coming back or not. And if they came back, they had the probability of not coming back with the hand. They went to put their life at risk. So when they came back, they had no time. I go to face this antelope to cut it and we bring it home for food, and then I also wash it. And so the way it was designed then is, and the woman predominantly of the traditional man wasn't employing. So she was employed at home 100%. So the situation is so different from ours now that I am working, my wife is working, like the world is busy, it's everywhere. So without boxing it in the tradition and what, it's now as emotional intelligence, it's like being human. Like there's a difference between like being, you have to be human, you have to just think and next thought, it doesn't come automatically. So if I come and I say that, okay, I am a traditional man, I sit back, my wife, let's say, is expecting, one of the toughest pregnancies for us was the twin pregnancy. The maid is, then something is as small as I want to get juice in the fridge. The traditional man, typical, would say, get me the juice, whether you are pregnant or not. But if a traditional man stands up and goes and gets themselves juice, that they cease to label themselves that, they become human. So for me, I don't know who is a traditional man. All I know is that we need to be human, like just human. I'm involved in my children's lives. I teach them at church. I intentionally decide to say, put me on a rota where I take kids in church. Some of the kids, I don't teach them in my category, 9 to 11. Some are young, one of them is in the 9 to 11 category, so I teach. That's my away from work. In my church, me and the same John of BBM, we are in charge of the youth. We are in charge of discipling the youth of secondary school, do camps for them. Again, you can see I'm just extending like kind of my, say if I am playing in play, like it's like my life.
In Carpers.
I'm not even working. I feel like if you pay me to mentor, you're paying me like to do something, it's like paying a dog to bark. It's like paying a cat to meow. It will be separate, it will even meow them more. So now me, I'm barking in my field. That's why even when I'm serving the church, I look for those spaces where I am naturally in. I speak, I write, I mentor, I teach. And that's what I will die doing. So that's the way, that's church, family, we have date nights, not theoretically, but planned. So you know that every month. And then we also try to do them with community. So we are very big on family with my wife. We have like 8 spaces we are in with the marriage. 8 happy marriages, 3Cs. Like I can envision our own fellowship, those in Watoto, And we intentionally go there because we want to do life with those people. We know that a man by himself is an accident waiting to happen.
Repeat that.
A man by himself is an accident waiting to happen. We need community.
Even in the business, tell them, even in the business world, these people think you're doing business alone. Like,
It's hard. You could do it alone, but in alone by proprietor, but in collaboration, you bring in the others. Like,
belonging to community, there are very many communities, belonging to communities of different entrepreneurs. And you're able to share at the end of the day, and this happened, I make these laws. And you know that
oh, yes, okay, yes.
aspect of like
yes.
communities, belonging to different communities. We see like BNI,
Yes.
Rotary. There are separate things we could name, but you don't have to do like short, like you say.
No, you
don't
can't.
have to do life.
If I do life outside,
What
you cannot survive you can't survive in business. I need Rotary because Rotary has my clients. I need BNI because it has my clients. There, it is through it I will find a school which needs their boys to be talked to. Okay, that's a non-profit, but let's say career on the profit side. They say, Joseph, come and talk to us about career. I need all those businesses where they will give me business which can be structured from the system point of view. They can work without me, or from me as a brand, Joseph Rwabutomise.
Guys, with Joseph, we can even go. I don't know how many, we could go even for 2-3 hours. Joseph, as we close off, what does success look like for you? What is success? People define success many ways, but what does success look like for you?
Fulfillment. In one word. You do something that deeply fulfills you is success to me. Very as simple, anything that fulfills me, and without dropping the ball in the most fundamental. So for me, the fundamentals, we have sat down as a family, we have what we call the Rwabutomise vision, mission, and values written, and like our kids know. So we have 5 values, but the top 3, the first is faith, and it is very important for every family to have values because they define your activities, they define like at one time, for example, when I was young, church was not a must. It wasn't a value to me. I would go to church or not. Okay, after leaving my parents, my guardian, gone other to university. And I say, but why? But now I define it with the word called faith. And under faith, we say every Sunday is church time in our Rwabutomise family. So you give it language. So faith. 2 is family. 3 is relationships. Everything you have now, whether you bought it with money, you either bought it with money or through people. Everything comes to man through man. Every good thing comes to man through man. And every bad thing comes to man through man. So relationships are key. So when you have the fundamentals right, for me, the fundamentals are God, family, relationship. When I have those, then money will come, purpose. So for me, success is equal to fulfillment.
Guys, it has been that. Each time the podcast is ending, I always ask my guests to ask me just one random question. Just one random question.
Yes.
I beat interview you all the time, so just one random question. Ask me anything.
Wow, that's a good one. Yeah, there's a lot. Of course, if we turn it around, it will become a podcast.
And that's why I said one random.
But if I was to ask, what is your motivator? What drives Saika? What keeps you awake? Why that? What is that story behind what keeps Sandra awake, not giving up? I would be curious to know.
I didn't see that coming. The motivator. You know, when you talk about impact over money, I think impacts and living my purpose. There are a lot of broken business people. There are a lot of broken ladies out there. And for me, my motivator is to give a lady, a summer who is struggling, hope that actually can get out of the situation that you're in and things are going to be better. And seeing them get back on their face from a place of struggling, from a place of failure, to me, that motivates me every day. And not to go in details, but it has also shaped my career along the journey because I've been in a bad place before and I also didn't have the support that I needed. The next bit,
But after getting out of that place, I realized that there are people who could have been in my situation, the same situation as when I was struggling, depressed, sad, confused, that lost all hope. And I feel like Beranje, there are a lot of people who are out there, they're like that. So why can't I, since I survived that, why can't I be the one to default to some other lady?
Wow.
So,
Very
guys,
powerful.
it's been amazing, amazing, amazing. You guys, even if I brought Joseph here today, tomorrow, the other day, like he's a very wise man. There is a lot to learn from him. But I'm very sure that we shall be having him back on the podcast. I do not know when, but thank you so much for blessing us with your words of wisdom. We've talked ministry, we've talked money, we've talked investment, we've talked family. Oh my goodness, we've talked so many things. Thank you so much, Joseph. Tell those guys to subscribe. The channel is. Tell them to subscribe, but like and share.
Absolutely. I would first, even before I tell you to subscribe, which you should, I want to say thank you, Sandra, for having me here. I can tell you this without any shadow of doubt, and I mean it from my heart. The work of be is so commendable because you're touching souls, you're touching hearts. You are touching generations from now because one girl, one boy, one person touched in a special way, you're not only touching them, you're touching the people who come out of them. So if you touch me financially, it means my daughter is benefiting from that, my wife. If I'm a lousy man, and then you shape me, guess what you're shaping? You're shaping a generation. So I want to say a big thank you. And this is a podcast that if you listen to, it can replace many of those movies that we watch. And I ask you to subscribe. Subscribe and share with a friend who may get encouraged out of this. Business, family, and all that right here on podcast. I think that's a key.
Until next time, I can't wait to see our family grow. I can't wait to see our numbers grow. Be blessed. See ya.
Bye-bye.